talking about Pixar's newest movie, Luca. Taking place um, in Italy, notably the
Not
Italian city of
Slovenia starring Luka Doncic, not that Luka.
Porto Rosso. Luka Doncic for going to be a Boston Celtic in the future after he
Oh
leaves the
no.
Mavs. Yes, Jalen Brown, all the picks. Just do it. But anyways, yeah. So Luca is. I was watching this movie and I went in with the expectations that Pixar going global. Already had Coco,
Right.
but continuing its venture around the world, pulling different cultures. I expected this to be maybe in that Coco territory. It's basically Little Mermaid. Uh, in Pixar's version, kind of.
Literally a fish out of water.
Yeah.
Uh,
um, and this ended up feeling very much like B-list Pixar to me, even though I think it's like obviously the animation is great. I think some of the voice performances, Jack Dylan Grazer, who we just talked about,
yeah,
Jacob Tremblay, who we haven't talked about in a while, but shout
yeah,
out Room,
yeah.
good,
He's
good,
getting older. He's which is nice. He's growing up.
yeah. So I think there's some good parts of it, but overall, I just felt like this was a bit disappointing because I think I went in with really high expectations. How
Hmm.
did you feel about Luca?
Yeah, so I like it and I actually quite appreciate it because of how different it is from some of the other stuff we've got for Pixar recently. Once again, it's an original, brand new Pixar iteration, which is nice to see. We've had that a lot recently. Coco, Onward, Soul, and before that, there'd been some concern showing about Pixar becoming a bit of a sequel factory. Credibles 2, Finding Dory, Toy Story
Hmm.
4, and we always expect Pixar for great original stories and just kind of being one of the few places that we know can continue to give us original stories convincingly because they're part of the Disney machine and these movies will be successful regardless of if they're IP or not. And just to get another original one again, I appreciate. But I think you're right. This is a lot like Onward. This
Yeah.
is, it's just solid. There are some very familiar Pixar storytelling beats regarding the coming of age of our lead protagonist. But I also appreciated how more straightforward it was for a kid's film. We
Hmm.
love Soul. Soul is existential as fuck.
Yeah.
Luca is not. Luca is just a coming of age story about some kids.
Yeah.
And that's cool too.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think this is kind of the way Pixar seems to be going right now, right? Where it's like they do one movie a year that's straightforward, kids can definitely mesh with and made for them more, and then they do one that's a little bit more heady, makes you think a little bit more. And this year, what's the one they have coming out? Man, in Colombia, it's Lin Manuel Miranda's doing the music for it. I can't remember exactly now. I'm gonna
So
look it up.
are you thinking of Encanto?
Yes.
So I actually thought that was Pixar too. That's actually just Disney animation. So they
Oh,
don't have another one coming out this year. The next Pixar movie is Turning Red in March 2022, and then the Buzz Lightyear prequel Lightyear in June 2022.
oh, interesting. Okay,
Yeah,
well, I had that wrong, folks, but
yeah. So did I in my head.
yeah, but um, I didn't mind this so much because I just like you, I agree that this really works just as a very straightforward movie. I think it's beautiful, and seeing like the Italian coast animated like this is just like
Mm,
amazing. I really liked like working in biking and things like that from culture. And I gotta say, like there are some really funny bits to this. I really liked when Maya Rudolph playing the mom goes looking for Luca
oh yeah.
and it's just beating all the kids up playing soccer. I
Yeah.
thought that was great.
One
A
cup for
couple of
kid. Okay. Yeah, we got that.
yeah. um, and I gotta say, this might be like the best kid villain I can remember in these Pixar movies because I hated that kid, man. I
Yeah, he
hated him.
sucked.
The worst. Uh,
Yeah, I agree. It's a clear reproduction of the Cinque Terre in Italy. The Italian Riviera looks gorgeous, looks just like Vernazza in particular, and that's really cool. Um, like you said, Coco, clearly Mexico.
Mhm.
Getting, I believe, turning red has an Asian influence, if I remember right. I'm not sure, uh, but that's cool to see again. Pixar getting more diverse in their storytelling. Of course, Soul featuring their first
Yep.
lead black character. You know, given Pixar's behind the scenes history with John Lasseter and this being a boys' club in general, it's nice to see Pixar under Pete Doctor having a, I think, wider view of how they operate, but also the storytelling they're doing. And I think in this one, my favorite thing was the bit about like, the Vespa, the desire to have a scooter. It actually, it gave me FOMO because I almost rented a scooter once in Europe and I didn't do it. And then when I was watching this movie, I was like, ah, fuck, I should have rented the scooter when I was there. Damn.
Dave, I mean, what was the reason not to?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I was confident in my abilities to drive it, I guess. So, yeah, I don't know. I just didn't do it. Should have done it.
Hmm.
That would been fun.
Next time, Dave, you and you can find a
Vespa.
friend and you can be like Aziz and his friend.
Yeah,
But you
master
know,
none.
um, yeah, I think one of the other parts of this movie that I just really liked was it felt like they really like drove home certain aspects that uh, in other movies didn't work as well for me. Like I really thought the I guess like the comedy around the like hiding of things in this really worked. Like when they were training for the bike thing and they would like fall in the water and having to like hide that and how they would like work that out really worked for me. Sometimes I would find that like stupid or corny and something like Onward. I'm trying to think of like a good example from that maybe didn't work as well for me. But those always I found that to be enjoyable and just seeing the like animation of like the transformation was really cool. Um, the only thing that really didn't sit well with me is Alberto's whole thing with his dad felt kind of like rushed. It's like it's mentioned and then alluded to, but then they have the fight where Luca kind of denounces him as a friend,
Yeah,
and
I love the fight, by the way. Like
yeah,
when
great,
he stabs him in the back, basically. That I thought that was really
yeah,
really well done because
yeah,
leading
heart
up to
wrenching,
that, Alberto's kind of like grating. He's like getting
yeah.
jealous and stuff. Then Luca just stabs him in the back at the worst moment. Like I
Mhm.
think that was handled well.
I thought so too, but then the reveal that like his dad hasn't been around, which I think everybody kind of saw coming,
Oh yeah,
um, just felt like it really wasn't like elaborated on or touched on. And then at the end, he's just kind of like, "Oh, I'm just gonna stay with this," her dad. That's the thing, which I was kind of like, "Oh, okay, I guess that works," but I felt like that um, wasn't fully baked for me in some sense. But
yeah,
it's just a small nitpick, honestly. Thought it
sure.
was enjoyable.
Yeah, in terms of like, so I liked how it starts. Like the whole uh, premise, the concept of these like mermaid-esque sea creatures being like fish shepherds, I thought was really funny. But overall, the underwater stuff ended up being quite undercooked because
Yeah,
undercooked is because we end up leaving it so fast and the world's
sushi.
largely left. Um, I also thought the fantastical sequences, like when they're in the Vespa and like the glider, where it's like those kind of took me out of it because they kind of fell out of nowhere to me,
Hmm.
and also didn't add a whole lot to it. Like thinking back, like Pixar has those kind of frequently in movies, but in this in Luca, I don't know if they added too much. Also, one thing I noticed too, just meta wise, it's kind of funny to see a story at one of these uh, sea, fishing towns like this because notably there is not a flood of tourists in this movie, and in real life, these places largely, unfortunately, are subsumed by tourists and depend on that kind of tourist income. So I actually like this idealistic setting of kind of what used to be,
Yeah. No, I agree. Dave, some people online couldn't help but point out how Alberto and Luca looks a lot like Elio and Oliver from Call Me
Yeah.
by Your Name, another movie set in Italy. Well, what do you think about that? Any thoughts? Care to comment?
Yeah, I mean, I see the comp. You know,
Yeah.
Pixar has really never made a nod to a same-sex relationship at all,
Mhm.
and I still don't think they've really nodded at it here.
No. definitely not.
but the vibes are very similar,
Fair.
and I don't think we're getting a Call Me by Your Name sequel anymore, given what's happened to Army Hammer. So we'll take
No.
any Call Me by Your Name inspiration we can find.
Yeah. So I'm very much in line with you. I don't think they're necessarily like nodding at it directly, but maybe a short homage. So who knows? But anyways, Luca, if you have Disney Plus, which most people are, or at least more people are getting now, check it out. It's worth the
Right.
2 hours, I'd
Yeah,
say.
I would say this is kind of a tough hit for theaters, man. It would have been nice if this also got released in theaters. Could get this same thing
Yeah.
happen to Soul, just because animated movies do well at the box office. Families like to go, and I'm sure families are very thankful to get this for free, and they can occupy their
Yeah.
kids with it for a long time for free. But it would have been nice if this could have made some money at the box office. But on the other hand, we've had now three Pixar originals in a year and 3 months. That's never happened before.
Yeah. I know. They're pumping them out.